We're going to have a law. It's going to be very simple. If a politician or bureaucrat wants to spend more on one thing, they have to find the savings within their own department. They can't simply pass the bill on to you. That way, they'll have to go hunting for the savings, to root out waste, optimize spending, get more value for our money, the way that single mom does in her home. Here are some ideas. They've doubled the cost of consultants up to almost $20 billion. Over $1,000 for every family in Canada goes to fund federal government consultants every single year. We're going to cut that. We're going to cut back on the rampant growth in the bureaucracy. We don't need 50% more bureaucrats to do less work. We're going to cut back on the corporate welfare, the big fat government checks that go to multinational corporations that rip off our people and move jobs out of our country. I would rather cut taxes for Canadian small businesses who bring the jobs back home to Canada. Bring it home. Bring it home. And of course, the best and most direct way to lower the cost of living is by axing the Trudeau-Carney carbon tax. Absolutely. Axe the tax. 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 Now, careful, everybody, because sneaky Mark Carney's going to try to pull a fast one on you. Here's what he's got planned. Here's what he's got planned. I'm making a prediction. Are you listening? Yes. Next week, he's going to hide the carbon tax. He's going to tell his environment minister to leave the carbon tax law in place, but just stop collecting it for a few months until the election is over. And then he'll bring in an even bigger shadow carbon tax. That's what his plan is. By the way, I didn't come up with that term. He did. He said, don't worry, it'll just apply on places like steel mills. He asked a journalist the other day, really, you won't pay any more. When was the last time you bought steel? Did anybody come here in a car? Do you know the beams and the structure of this building? Do you think this roof would stand up if there was no steel in our walls, in our frames? Everything we have would come crumbling down if you remove steel. Carney admits that this tax would trickle down in higher automobile prices, but it's much worse than that. I'll tell you one thing right now. Stelco, Algoma, all the steel makers in Canada will be out of Canada in no time, heading straight into the arms of Donald Trump if Mark Carney brings in a carbon tax on our industry. But we won't let him. I will axe the tax for everyone for good, and we will bring those jobs home. Now, listen, we're going to bring home more powerful paychecks for our people as well. And it starts with a big, patriotic, bring it home tax cut for everyone everywhere in Canada. It'll be a tax cut on work, investment, energy, and home building. Bringing home powerful paychecks means that we have to make this the best place on planet Earth to invest, to open a business, to hire workers, to expand, and to buy machinery. Right now, we're in Canada, we produce about 50 American dollars of GDP for every hour worked. In the US, they produce 80 American dollars per hour worked. Why? We have better workers, and our workers work harder. The answer is they don't have as many tools and as much technology. And here's why. Every single year, American business invests $28,000 per worker. Every year in Canada, our businesses invest $15,000 per worker. So you can imagine, if you and your neighbor are competing, if you're, for example, you're shoveling snow, and you both start with a teaspoon. Well, your neighbor then gets investment, so he upgrades to a shovel. And then slowly you upgrade to a small shovel, but he's already upgraded to a snowblower. And then by the time many years down the road you get a snowblower, he's got a big tractor that comes along and shovels the snow for him, right? He's getting better tools and better technology than you are. You're falling behind, he's getting ahead. That's why $500 billion of investment has left Canada for the United States in the last 10 years of the Carney-Trudeau Liberals. The U.S. has much lower taxes and much faster approvals. Here in Canada, the Carney-Trudeau Liberals have hiked the capital gains tax, hiked small business tax, hiked energy and income taxes. If we want to bring the money home, we have to cut those taxes. And that's why we will cut income tax so that hard work pays off and you bring home more of each dollar you earn.